This is issue number 11, 12, and 13 for the Kaiju Engine. I have a fever, so I'm just going to do some simple ones today, I think. So I'm going to start off with the touch input. Human interface device. Forgive me, I'm going to be a little more chill today, I think. We'll start off with a const max touch pointers available. We'll have 10 pointers there. Then we'll have a type touch action equals end. This just is for mapping with the actions that are inside of Android, possibly iOS, I don't recall. But we can use them cross-platform to define the behavior. So we'll do touch action none, touch action equals, we'll say -1. And then touch action down is going to be internal touch action down, as it may be platform specific. Then we'll have up as our next one. Up. Then we'll have move. Then we'll have cancel. And then we'll have held. Action held. And we'll make this -3, and we'll make this one actually -2. Okay. We don't need these on all of them. Oh, wait, yeah, we do. Touch action. Do we? I don't know. I can't recall. It's not an increment, so I think we do. And for now, we'll just set these to be some random values until we get around to hooking them up on the different platforms. So to do, move this to platform specific code, and we will do internal touchdown, touch action down. We'll just use iota for now. And then we can do the other ones. Okay. Cool. Now we're going to create the touch pointer type, touch pointer struct. We're going to have pressure. We'll make this a float32, and x, float32, a y, and inverse y, and then a state, which is going to be a touch action, then an ID, which is going to be an int64. This is an int64 because this ID maps, for example, to the Android int64 touch ID. I know Android the best off the top of my head, so we're basing it off of that first, and then we can refactor for iOS and all that sort of stuff. So now we're going to have the touch struct, which is going to have pointers. It's an array of touch pointers. We're going to have a pool max touch pointers available. And then we're going to have a count, and we're going to have a reset touch count. Okay. We'll need to create the touch, so we'll do func new touch, and then we'll return a touch pointer. T is equal to touch count. Oh, count is 0, so we don't need to do that. We need pointers. And make those guys. Then for and that, we're going to set it to none. And the ID is going to be set each time we acquire that touch, so there's no point in setting it to anything specific, so we will just set it to -1. I guess that is specific because then we know it's not a valid touch ID. So we're going to have a new, we're going to have touch, we're going to have a new pointer ID int64. So touch pointer bool. And this will also work for the touchscreen of the setup that we have here will work for the touchscreen of things like a Steam Deck and that sort of stuff as well. At least Android and Steam Deck are the ones that I've tested the most with this setup. So found is false. And then for I is equal to 0. I is less than max pointers available and not found. I plus plus. If t.pool ID is -1, then we're going to get the address of that pool index, and then we're going to say p.id is equal to ID. We say we found it, and then we return p and found. Okay, so now we have to be able to get a pointer internally. T-touch. I swear this thing's listening to me, but I'm not going to use get pointer. I don't like using the word get. ID int 64 touch pointer var p touch pointer for I is equal to 0. I is less than max touch pointers available, and p is equal to nil. I plus plus. If tpool ID is equal to the ID, then p is equal to the address of that pooled. Excuse me, that pooled. And we're going to return p. Okay, so now we can do func p touch pointer set position x y window height 32. We get the window's height so we can set the inverse y, similar to what we do with the mouse cursor stuff. So x is x, y is equal to, no, this is the other way around. Y here, and inverse y is going to be that one. Now we need to externally be able to set this down. Touch set down ID int 64 x y window height 32 p found is equal to t.new pointer ID. If found, I guess I could just say if found, we can do p.state is equal to touchdown. T.pointers is appending that, and then t.set moved ID xy window height. We will come back for the set moved. So we're going to have func t touch set up, and I should be able to guess most of it. P pointer, p is not nil, p state is equal to touch action up, and p dot set position. We need to xy window height. XY window height. Now we've got func t touch set moved. Yep, you can probably guess most of what we're doing here. We are not going to set the touch action move yet. That's going to be done elsewhere, similar to what we did with the mouse. Now, some touchscreens have pressure, so we can say set pressure, and the ID of it, we find it. If we found it, then we set the pressure to pressure. Then we need to cancel t touch cancel. And we're just going to go through all of our touch pointers and set them to cancel state. Now we need a helper function to know if we've pressed anything. So t touch pressed bool return t.count is greater than 0 and t.pointers 0 state is touch action down. Func t touch held. If t.count is greater than 0, else return false. We're going to say s is equal to t.pointers 0.state and return s is touch action held, or s is touch action move. Okay, now we're going to have a func t touch released. See, the count is greater than 0 and the state is touch action up. And then we need canceled. Okay. Now we want the ability to set the count. Set count because you can press with multiple fingers at the same exact time. So we want to explicitly set the count whenever those events come in. Func t touch. We want to be able to get the individual pointer. Return t.pointers index. And then we need an end update similar to what we did with the mouse. So func t touch end update. If t.reset touch count is 0. Yeah, we can leave that. I didn't set this anywhere else, right? No. Okay. For I is equal to max pointers available -1. I is greater than 0. I minus minus. I'm going to say switch t.pool eyes state case touch action down fall through case touch action move t.pool I.state is equal to touch action held. Okay, capital T, I'm pretty sure. So now on up, we're going to say t.pool I.state is equal to touch action none. T.pool ID is -1. T.pointers is equal to we need to remove this particular one. So I think I do slices dot delete because it needs to be sorted. I and I plus 1. And then t.count is equal to matrix dot. Did I make an integer? Oh, we have a max 0, comma t.count -1. Keep forgetting about the max in the new Go version. We do want to do the cancel next. I'm going to say t.pool state is none. ID is -1. We don't need to delete. We say t.pointers is equal to t.pointers 0 and t.count equals 0. Okay. So this end update will be called similar to the other one. So I think that's in the host. Where is our mouse? Mouse. Is it in our window? Yeah, we have the mouse and the keyboard here. We can have a touch, hid.touch. End update. Oh, did we not have an end update on the mouse? End update. Oh, we did. I'll just go to where that's called, please. Okay. Is it not called host? Let's go to the update. So we need to do the end updates here. Oh, do end updates. I'm just gonna straight call them right now. Host window. Does keyboard have an end update? I'm pretty sure mouse has an end update. Touch has an end update. Okay, so we've not hooked up touches yet, but we have everything we need to abstractly use them on any platform. So now we'll do the stylus. stylus.go. Okay. A motion event action idle. Now we're gonna change this a little bit later, and we're gonna have held to do. This is Android specific stuff. Okay, so I guess we can put this in the same const because we're going to continue with some more Android specific stuff. A motion event action hover enter equals 1 plus iota. Okay, I just typed all those out. Less talking. Now we're going to have a set of stylus actions similar to what we had for the touch actions. These are just going to map straight to each one of those guys that we just set up, even though it's Android specific at the moment. Stylus struct x float 32 y iy pressure and distance. Then we also have an action state. And we have, actually, these are the action states here, so probably we'll want to create a type for those. Stylus action state. Let's just put this up here. Okay. Action state, stylus action state. Just set down, bool, just set up, bool. I don't know what these are for yet. We might refactor them. Just exited, bool. It's been a while, but these are, I think these were needed when I was testing. They're in my notes. Okay, so now we're going to do func new stylus. I guess we don't need to do a, where's our mouse? Do we have a new mouse here? Yeah, we have a new mouse and it returns a non-pointer. So let's make these return non-pointers, unless we need them to be pointers. And we're going to set them as part of our new window. So keyboard is equal to new keyboard, touch, mouse. Oh, I already did mouse. There we go. Okay. So new stylus. Stylus is going to return a stylus. Action state is going to be stylus action none. Pretty straightforward. Okay, I just wrote out these guys here. We have a pressed state, which is going to do just set down. Held state, which is not just set down, but action is down. And I think it's and this or this. There we go. And we have a released, so just set up, and then we have an action state to get the current action state. Okay, so this next section is set action state, which we're just going to pass this in from Android, for example, or Wacom tablet, Wacom, and we're going to set those booleans. So these booleans could probably just be part of the states. These guys. We'll see how we're playing around with those. Then we're going to set the distance, or we're going to have a set distance, and then we're going to have similar. Let's put these in the same order. We'll do X, Y, window height, and pressure there. And then lastly, we're going to need our end update. So I added our end update and our is active. So here we have if just set down is false. If just set up is false. Else if just exited, then just exited is false and the action is none. So I might refactor some of this Boolean nonsense to be a part of our states here. I don't see the point right now of having these duplicates, so I'm going to get rid of those. And I'm going to return s.state, action state, is equal to down. It might be because down came in multiple times. I'm not sure. We'll have to debug and see later. So held is if it is down or moving. I guess we should have a held state. Move up. Oh, we do have held state. If it's held or moving. Released is going to be if it's up, return the action state. So now we can do switch here. Oh, this is setting the action state. So see, this is where those random numbers come in from Android, these random values. I'm sure it's not random to them, but it's random to the developer who's using it. So we'll say s.action state is equal to down. It's equal to up. And action hover exit. This is for when you hover over. So when you hover over and then you hover out, is there a hover case? Stylus action, stylus action. Oh, we have hover, move, enter. I guess what is the point of any of this? We just set the state to whatever comes in. This is a stylus action state. Some of my notes are kind of old. So now on our end update, we're going to do similar to what we do with our touch and our mouse. So, oops. Switch action state, case down. We're going to say that it's now held. Case up, it's now none. Let's look at our other one. So down and move. I think a move happens when it has moved, so it needs to go back to, similarly how this one goes back to held, we need to do that. So fall through, case, move. It'll go back to held. Up, we'll go to that. Case, stylus, action, hover, enter will become not held, stylus. We need just a hover. So let's just throw in a hover. Hover. Okay. So hover enter is going to go to hover. Hover move is going to go to hover as well, so this would fall through. Hover exit is going to be back to none. Okay. Then we have we've already done the down, the move, the down, the move, the up. Held and hover are both valid states there. Okay. Cool. So that is going to be our stylus code. And now the last thing I like to make as part of this code is what's called a cursor. The cursor is essentially you can use a stylus or a touch touchscreen, touch input, and a mouse. All three of those should be able to work as a cursor, to click and drag and move and all that sort of stuff. So I like to have a cursor that wraps that code together, and then we can just use the cursor for doing checks rather than the individual input device. Okay, so this fever is starting to kick in. So I'm going to do a little less talking as I type, and I'm going to type it out and we can take a look at it. So this is the cursor. We have access to the mouse, the touch, the stylus, and then we have access to positions and pressure and distance and all that sort of stuff. So when we create a new cursor, we pass in the addresses of those, the pointers of those, so that we can use them directly or modify them directly. Okay, we have the moved check, which will check to see if the mouse has moved. I'm probably going to add in the other ones in here as well. We have the pressed check, the held check, and the release check. I don't know what I was doing here. Okay, it's because I didn't have these functions, so I'm going to go make them real quick. Okay, so this is the moved for the touch, and this is the move for the stylus. Now, this one is a little special because you could be hovering and moving, and that may also need to trigger it. So that's something to think about. I'm probably going to make it do it because it's like a little cursor. Stylus, action, hover moved. Okay, so either of those will trigger a moved. So back in the cursor, that should make that happy. Now, unlike the input devices, we are going to have a pole here because we need to, I guess I don't have a position function. See, position is, what? Hold on. Oh, I don't have the position function yet. But pole is essentially going to update our info here, and the pressure should probably include the touch pressure. So if c.touch.count is greater than 0, then c.pressure is going to be equal to c.touch.pointers 0.pressure. Else we're going to do the stylus pressure. Now we have the screen position function, which will return the top left corner as 0, 0. So it's going to be using the inverse y, and it's going to get the position for either the touch or the stylus or the mouse. We're also going to add in a UI position function. If you recall, we set our orthographic cameras to be offset to center them. So this is a helper function for dealing with that specific code. Okay, and then lastly we have the position, which is just the standard OpenGL non-screen space positioning. So it'll use the regular Y, the bottom left corner, rather than the inverse Y. And now we can set up our window to do w.cursor, capital C cursor, touch, HID cursor. We also need the stylus. So we'll also do like a Xbox controller at some point. But I'm going to leave it off here. This fever is coming after me. All right, and since this is an address window that we're creating here, we're okay to just start passing in the address of these three directly into this cursor. And that'll give us the abstract code to deal with just an arbitrary cursor, whether it's a mouse, a touch input, a stylus, and anything else that may come after that. Cool. And I guess that's it for these. Yeah, see you in the next one. Oh, I guess I would test these right now, but I'm losing my voice, so I may have to test them in another one. We're going to come across actually using this code, so obviously we're going to test it at some point. I just need to go to bed. All right, thanks for watching. Oh, I guess I'm not done. I noticed when I was doing the commit, I didn't have the host.window.stylus end update, and when we do this window pull, let's see what we're doing here. At the end of it, we can do w dot. Well, I guess since we may move these, nah, this is fine. We'll do w dot cursor dot pull, and then I could just bring these into the window. Why not? End update. So func w window end update. We'll just call all these guys. So host window end update. Cool. Now I just make sure that builds. It doesn't crash, and then we'll be good to go. Cool. Still there.